Hey guys, I just wanted to come on and talk a bit about attitude and how it kind of plays into our everyday life. After we graduate high school or college, we're kind of thrown out into the world. We get a full time job and we have rent to pay, bills, and we have to try to keep up with the social life and keep a steady relationship. But we're never really taught about the mental and emotional parts of growing up. So I just kind of wanted to touch base on attitude today. So having a good attitude towards work can really aid in helping your days go by quicker, helping your days go by better, helping you look forward to certain aspects of your life. Um, so, as an example, you can wake up in a really great mood, have a good breakfast, drive to work no problem. Maybe your favorite song comes on the radio. You have fantastic customers throughout the day. You're friendly with your coworkers, and as a result, you get a wage increase. Or you can wake up and you can hate the idea of going to work because you're up at 6 o'clock in the morning and you have to make breakfast. Maybe you spill coffee on your shirt and you're late for work because you have to change. And then you're grumpy to your customers and your boss, and you can eventually get fired. So, having a good attitude towards certain aspects of life can really affect us short term and long term. Our attitudes can't stop our feelings, but they can keep our feelings from stopping us. So that kind of means, like, if you wake up in a bad mood or you're in a bad mood, you don't really want to do anything. You just kind of want to lay around. Maybe you feel really sad or you're depressed. You just kind of want to lay around and be lazy. And that can make you feel really bad about yourself, which obviously you don't want. And in turn, that can lead to like a long term depression. It can lead to a lot of self consciousness, a lot of self hate, and obviously, well, you can fall into a really deep depression, and that outcome is not really the greatest. Or you can address the fact that you are sad or you're in a bad mood, and you can decide to change that and decide to get out of that. An example, the other day that happened to me, I woke up in a really great mood, which was fantastic. I hopped down off of our bunk and I decided to make some coffee. So I opened up our bag of beans and I put them in the grinder and I was grinding them, and I swung my arm and I knocked the whole bag of beans all over the floor, which was obviously not the most fun. And as I was cleaning them up, I was thrown into like an instant bad mood because there's dog hair in it. It's all over the place, and they're so small that you have to pick them all up individually. But with that being said, I also addressed the fact that it was 6 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't want to be in a bad mood for the rest of the day. I didn't want to have a bad attitude towards the rest of the day. So I decided to change it. I addressed the fact, like, shit happens. I made a mistake. I knocked all the coffee beans on the floor. So I decided I would clean them all up, have a good cup of coffee, read a book, and like bing bang boom, out of a bad mood. So it's all about your decision to change change your attitude towards certain situations. Once we change our attitude, it's sorry, not once we change our attitude, once we address the fact that we have to take ownership of our attitude and our moods, that's when we really grow up. And that's the true side of growing up, is taking responsibility for how we feel and how we act to certain situations. If you ever talk to anybody and they say they're grumpy and you ask them why, and they say it's because they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, that's completely false. You can wake up on the wrong side of the bed and still have a good day. It's all about how you handle your mood and your attitude towards that. And one thing that I've really learned as I've grown up, I am only 20, but one thing that I've learned is when I wake up and I'm in a really great mood is to not expect my day to run perfect. If I expect my day to run perfect, yet something bad happens in it, then I find I get into such a negative state and such a grumpy irritation that it takes a lot for me to pull myself out of it. So by waking up and by waking up in a good mood and expecting the day to play out how it will, I'm not setting myself up for like a certain kind of failure with my attitude. There's certain things that we can control in life, and obviously our mood and our attitude is one of them, but we can't control everybody else's mood and attitude. So by waking up and expecting the day to play out how it will, you are allowing yourself that wiggle room where if something bad happens or something negative happens, you can address that fact. You can decide how you're going to react to it, and then you can move on from that. Like an example with my dad passing away, after that, it was a really tragic accident. It affected me a lot, obviously. And I was in a really, really bad state of mind. I had a bad attitude towards life. I got really depressed, and I ended up having a lot of suicidal thoughts. And all of my bad attitude, my bad mood affected my relationships a lot, affected my relationship with Josh, with all of my friends and my family, and I started pushing them away. And it wasn't until there was a really big deciding factor in my relationship that came to be, where I realized I needed to take ownership and I needed to decide how I wanted the outcome. I needed to decide how I wanted everything to play out. And I owned up to it. I confessed that, yeah, I was treating everybody like crap. I was in a really bad state of mind, but I wanted to change that, and I needed to change it. So it was the simple act of waking up and deciding my day would be good. It was the simple act of waking up and deciding I was going to I was going to look forward to work. I was going to smile at somebody that day. I was going to just have a good attitude towards everything. Expect the good to happen or hope for the good to happen, but don't expect the perfect to happen. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to touch base on that. During this Christmas season, it's kind of hard to constantly be in a good state of mind, because with the lack of vitamin D from the sunshine and being cooped up in our homes and whatnot and limited on the things that we can do, it's really easy to fall into a bad mood and depression or just a state of sadness. So I hope maybe that this is a bit of a reality check or like a wake-up call, or I don't know, just something to keep in mind over coffee. Anyways, just let me know what you think. Comment below. And if you could follow me, that would be awesome. You can follow me on Instagram for some lifestyle tips, advice, and then some health and nutrition advice as well. Or you can subscribe below. Cool. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.